Hold on.
You can't say that right before we hit record.
Yeah, not at all. You can't. That's prime podcasting
Like, hey, let me
material.
just throw out this little fact that no one would want to have a conversation about.
Totally got to record that. Okay, repeat.
I just have a couple of buddies that are arguing with me that a gorilla will fuck up a polar bear, and I'm saying no, like you're out of your minds. A polar bear is like 1,200 pounds, a gorilla is like 400 pounds. They're like, but gorilla is way more agile and could be stronger, and polar bears are slower. I'm like, what are you basing this off of? Like, polar bears eat and kill animals all day, and that's it. And gorillas just chill and eat leaves all day. Just based off of that, and then the size difference. But it's
they are leaf. That does make them leaf jacked, though. So
they're jacked, of course.
They're gigantic.
100%.
Yeah. They're
but they're fucked.
They used my logic against me. They're like, so you'll fight one, Derek? I'm like, no, 175 pounds. I work at a computer all day. Like,
bro.
Gorillas would fuck up most living things. You said polar bear.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I will fight one.
Yeah.
You guys have just talked your best friend into killing himself via gorilla.
I mean, I would like to see that.
Derek fight a gorilla?
Very... Well, that too, totally. Yeah, you're fucked, bud, but it would still be
most awkward eulogy ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he tried.
This is why we start the Patreon.
This is why we said polar bear.
He gave it his all.
We got a podcast going, but if you join our Patreon, you can watch Derek fight dangerous
hand-to-hand combat. Because I do understand their point of, or their argument of it's more agile, it could jump and blah blah blah. But I don't.
This isn't like X-Men though. Right?
It's
like Nightcrawler versus Juggernaut or something. You're like, but the small scrappy one can do better.
Really
and I'm
matter.
Like,
all that matters is the amount of damage that each one can deliver. And I'm sorry, if a polar bear hits a fucking gorilla, the gorilla's fucked up.
Those paws alone are like 100 pounds each, with
not including the claws on the paws.
No, I mean the strength of gorillas, even strength of chimpanzees are insane. I mean they'll rip your arm right off your body without even trying.
Dude, a chimp's 70 pounds and would fuck up the four of us.
Completely.
Easily.
Two of us don't have faces anymore.
No. And probably all four of us got no balls or dick. It goes it goes for those very quickly.
We become celibate real quick. Real quick.
So I mean, a silverback. I mean, I'm just saying it would be a very interesting.
Justin. So what? You want to fight a silverback now? That's what you're saying?
You take one down.
No. Yeah, I think I remember reading, which. Go with me because it's fine.
Were you reading this or was it on Spike TV? Because it sounds like a Spike TV show.
No. It was I can't remember what book it was in. But it was a sciencey human evolution book or whatever, and it was saying basically the only difference between Homo sapiens and basically gorillas or huge apes is just a couple percent. I think it was 11% in brain size. So if a gorilla had 11 more percent in brain size, they would have their intelligence and their physical strength in that example. But at the same time, the reason why we don't have that kind of strength is because our brains are so big that all of the calories in our body go straight to our brains and not our muscles. Whereas they have small brains, so all their calories just go to their muscles, and that's why they're so fucking strong. So it's it's weird to think that the only difference is just a couple more percent in brain size.
I'm envisioning this Kostansky-esque fucking scene where it's one human brain and a monkey brain, and there's nothing else. It's just the brains, and they're on the ground staring at each other, and nothing's happening because
nothing. But then
that one's a little bit bigger.
I remember reading that and being like, dude, if gorillas just had something happen where they had bigger brains, then we'd all be fucked, because then we'd have gorilla-sized people with our gorilla-sized apes with our intelligence. But then I was like, wait a minute, that's us.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't, and that's why Derek's fighting them.
Yeah. Derek take him down.
Yeah.
Right.
So this seems like a good intro into our episode about AI.
How many times did you double check the title of this episode in the last 5 minutes, listener? You're like, what the?
Thought we were talking about AI movies.
Yeah. So chopping mall, huh?
Masterpiece.
So how many chopping malls do you think could take a gorilla?
Maybe Killbots.
I feel like that's the remake we need. Is instead of robots, they just fill them all with trained gorillas.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be
to stop shoplifters.
Because maybe the gorilla. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Actually, fuck what I was about to say. Because, like, dude, what kind of shoppers did they anticipate shopping at these malls?
Yeah. I want to point out, the 80s. I've watched this movie so many fucking times, like hundreds of times easily. And it never occurred to me. They literally, in the very first part of the movie, he's like, well, you're not going to need these robots because of these giant doors. And then goes on to just talk about the robots and not the fact that this whole security system is pointless. You just need giant doors.
Right. Yeah.
Like the only people that threat by this system are the late night workers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny how go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was
just more of me being confused.
It's just fun. It's funny how these movies come about because it's Julie Corman, who is Roger Corman's wife. She produced it, and Roger Corman is the executive producer. She had a deal with Vestron to make a horror film that takes place in a mall. And to me, that is such an oddly specific, weird deal to have with the studio. Just like the genre and the location.
That was back when, like, that was super typical, apparently.
Yeah, they were greenlighting every idea.
It was literally just like to that level of like vagity, like horror movie in a mall. Go do whatever you want.
But like that deal was had or made or written up prior to any other concept of this movie. Like there's no concept, there's no script, there's no story. It's just hey, you need to do a horror movie that takes place in a mall.
Well, Wynorski, this is Wynorski, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wynorski was kind of already established for this. I'm getting a lot of this from the Joe Bob Briggs episode. That Wynorski was essentially already established with the different companies, so they were like, "Hey Jim, we need a horror movie in a mall," and he's like, "I'll figure it out."
This one 100% feels like the name came first.
Yeah.
And then the poster, maybe, because the poster has some weird like android arm holding a head in a bag. And I'm like, there's no chopping. Right. There's lasers. There's fire. There's a lot of like ripping, some pinching and some ripping. No real chopping. That arm doesn't belong to anyone that's in this fucking movie. The cover art's very misleading.
Yeah. Well, what happened was they originally released a movie under the title Killbots, and they put it in theaters, and it wasn't performing. And the studio was like, I don't think people understand what this movie is based off the name. It sounds too much like a Transformers action kind of thing.
That's insane. It's called Killbots.
Right. Yeah. So then they took out the 15 minutes in the movie. That's why the movie's only an hour and 15 minutes. They took out 15 minutes, changed the name to Chopping Mall, and then redistributed it to movie theaters while the movie was in theaters.
Yeah.
And then that's how it became known what it is.
It is weird they would just call it Killbots if the whole point was that it's a horror movie that takes place in a mall. Like, you should draw attention to the fact that it takes place in a mall if that's what you thought was the selling point.
You could actually still see the trailer for Killbots with the title screen Killbots. That's cool. Yeah, it's on YouTube because when they actually originally titled it Robots, which is dumb, and then they did Killbots. And when they did a test screening, I think it was just in Phoenix was the only place they did test screening, and nobody was going to it. It's not even that the screening was people were going to it and didn't like it. It just the name wasn't appealing, obviously. So
yeah, robots.
Yeah. Well, no,
Terminator was already out. Yeah. So it's like at least Terminator is like, all right, well, I kind of understand what's something's terminating something.
Yeah.
But robots.
Right. But so what I was reading was Roger Corman said, all right, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this isn't performing well because I think it's a good movie. So him and Wynorski, they watched it again in a screening room and they're having like a brainstorm sesh. And it's the two of them plus a janitor in that screening room. The janitor was changing out light bulbs. And as they're going back and forth trying to figure out what the issue is with the movie, they're kind of spitballing ideas for the name. The janitor interrupted them and said, "Why don't you just call it Chopping Mall?" And they both said yes.
I feel like that ends with "you fucking nerds."
Yeah. Yeah. So they just changed it. They only had a few prints of the movie. They changed it. They retested it now in Tucson, I think. So still Arizona, just a city over. And then it just crushed.
And that janitor, Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Right. But I love those stories
for another role. Cab Rider.
Yeah.
Right. Wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah.
I wonder what's in the 15 minutes they removed, because this movie,
that's what 100%
could have been longer, because it feels like Act 1 is the 5 minutes before the title card, and then the rest of the movie is just like a 2-act movie.
I was reading the same thing that Justin said, and I was like, all right, there must be footage of it somewhere. And I watched an interview with Wynorski, and he said that they didn't change the movie at all. He didn't mention anything about taking anything. He's like, we just changed the title, exact same movie, just different titles, and then it did great. But then I kept reading it at a lot of other places that they removed 15 minutes. So I have no idea, but apparently there's no version of it out there of it with an extra 15 minutes. I'd love to see the other 15 minutes if it's out there.
Yeah.
Me too. 15 extra minutes of crab movie commentary.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so fun though. I forget how much I love this movie, because this was the last time I watched it. It was something I'd thrown on in the background, and I was distracted by other stuff. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, but I missed some stuff. And so today I actually sat down and watched it, and I was like, man, this is a blast.
It's so good. I don't even have any notes for it, just because every time I put it on, I'm just like, I just love this movie. I just love watching this movie.
Yeah, it quickly becomes an 80s like comfort movie. Yeah, a lot of them I want to watch, but this one I can put on no matter what, and just it's just
My only note is do not put Dick Miller in a movie just to immediately kill him. That is very upsetting. Like I wanted to see at least 20 to 30 more minutes of cranky janitor Dick Miller.
I wish that we had the ability to just make up graphics for this thing on the fly, and just we had a Dick Miller alert, because every time he's in a movie, I just want to celebrate it.
Yes.
Right.
It's so good. I do love that even though he is gone too soon in this movie, we do get a nice electrical skeleton, and I'm always a fan of that. What's funny is I accidentally watched I actually saw just that part on Peacock, and it's censored, and so like they cut out some of the curse words. Or no, not on Peacock, on YouTube TV.
Oh, okay.
And it's censored. They cut out like some of the curse words, but more importantly, they cut out the electric skeleton shot. Just that one. The rest of him getting electrocuted is there, but skeleton is too scary, apparently.
Really?
That's odd.
Did it still have Barbara's brutal death?
Yeah,
I didn't. I didn't keep watching because that was
gotcha.
Yeah, when the electric skeleton was cut, James was out. He's like, I'm not watching this trash.
He's done.
Electric skeleton's gone. Why am I watching this movie?
Yeah. I when I got to her death scene, I was like, I was glued into the movie, and that happened. I was like, I've seen this movie so many times, but for some reason, her death scene hit differently this time, and I was like, Jesus, man, this is way more brutal than
they really like. They really focus on the fact that she's fucking burning to death.
Yeah,
and
still screaming when she's moving.
That's what it is. Yeah,
and he comes up. I like that it even feels longer because there's a chance for him to come up and see her burning to death.
and just watch.
They were like, hold on, guys, we got to wait. He's got to see this. We got to really fucking hone in on the trauma.
I did love how it affected him, and he was just like the fucking dumbest guy in this whole movie. He's like, well, there was one out there, and it's not going to get me. And he starts to load his gun, and I'm like, we all just saw that guns do nothing. We all just saw that the guns do nothing. And like, no, we got to stick together. And he's like, a lot of good that did Susie, right? And we're like, no, you guys were separated when that happened. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to stick together. Like that. Come on, man. Like, and then he immediately fucking dies. Like
immediately.
Yeah. Coast is cleared. It's right behind you, man. Like there's no way you didn't see that killbot. It's right there. So
he got yeeted off that fucking top thing pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
Question: I might have turned away. Where did they get the guns from? Was it a gun store?
Yeah, it was
a sporting goods store. Yeah.
A sporting goods store that sells like M16s
in the 80s. Yeah,
the 80s. Yeah.
In California for sure.
Is that the most unrealistic part of this movie to you, Justin?
I think so, dude. I think so.
Dude, there's a mall in Edmonton, Canada that's got a shooting range in it.
Wow.
Shit. Actually, literally everything you could think of in this mall. It is Edmonton and it gets cold as fuck in the winter. And it's like a whole city packed inside of a mall that has a theme park, a water park, a tattoo shop.
A water park.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's nuts. There's roller coasters in it and shit. And then, and you have a shooting range. I was like, that's
we're going to fucking
interesting.
America could never.
No,
we could never. That place would be that wouldn't fly.
No. All of America is just crying right now.
Yeah.
We never got a shooting range.
No. I did notice that Wynorski also directed one that I brought up during the Jaws episode, which was Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre. In addition to a lot of like Skinamax stuff.
Yeah, he did a lot
Scared Topless.
Yeah.
Which got edited down to be The Legend of the Naked Ghost.
No.
It was Scared Topless, and then it was edited down to just Topless.
Yeah. But he also did some TV PG thing called A Doggone Hollywood, starring a YouTube famous Jack Russell Terrier.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It's like, what a stacked resume awesome. This man has.
Great. Yeah.
Well, the dog is trained to stack the resume.
There it is.
Right.
I actually wrote him on Facebook one time whenever we first started at the end of 2018 because we were trying to find the rights to this movie to do T-shirts for.
To Doggone Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yes. And so
we were thinking about hitting him up for Toppy Mall too, but
that was
more important.
A bunch of Skinamax movie T-shirts.
Yeah, you're like, can we do Scared Topless? And he's like, that's ironic. Why would we put that on a shirt?
Yeah.
God damn it!
It's one of those shirts that you flip it up and the print on the inside of it just says "scared."
So I went through the whole spiel like, "Hey, Jim, we're blah 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 blah," and maybe that's why he didn't respond back because the answers just are blah 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 blah. But anyway, so asked for the how to get in contact with anybody who has the rights, if he had the rights, where to go, and all his message. I'm literally looking at it right now. All his message is, Justin, I own 20%. That's it. That's it. And I was like, I don't know where to go from here. Cool.
And you reply 20% as well, apparently?
It's like, okay, should we make 20% of a shirt? I don't know what to I don't know what to do with this information.
Put on the sleeves belongs to me.
20% of a shirt makes it a lot easier to do Scared Topless.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's funny.
Thanks, Jim.
That was the end of that. It's like, cool.
If you're watching this, Jim, we would love to know.
For
another 80%.
Yeah. 6 years later, now we get to use that tidbit of information to go into a podcast episode.
I haven't been able to use a shirt yet.
Yeah, no shirts. No shirts.
He seems like a super cool guy in all the interviews I watched of it.
I mean, he responded to me.
He did respond, which most people don't.
Yeah, I would say it's probably more than 99% of what you'd expect.
That is cool points.
Well, that's about 20% of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Let's just do 20% of a design.
Yeah.
Just print it.
Yeah.
Chop.
We'll take a full design, chop it at 20%.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Everyone on Instagram, is this a glitch? What do you guys are selling this? Be like, yeah, you got to listen to this episode to understand. It's on,
it's on brand.
Yeah, it all makes very much sense.
Yeah.
Just chop as part of the laser bar.
We can't see the full image.
No, that is well. You can see 20% of the full image.
You can see 20%.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
That's what you get. That's all we can afford.
We're only contractually obligated for 20% of the design. Oh man.
You know what? We did 2 other movies too.
I know. Derek was like, I feel like I could just do 90 minutes on Chopping Mall. And I'm like, I think I might be okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I thought the Child's Play remake was better than I anticipated. And it did not play well for me on a second viewing.
Yeah.
Josh, I don't know why, because that movie's amazing.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I fucking loved it. What? I love that movie. That's the second time I've watched it.
I don't understand it.
Dude,
I actually finished it this time. I don't understand why you like this movie.
I don't know why you guys don't. It's everything.
I don't hate it.
It looks like he's in the process of taking your shit.
Who cares about how he looks?
I do. He's a fucking killer puppet.
I don't care.
He does look pretty bad.
But the thing, of course he looks pretty bad. But whatever. I'm not going to allow that to ruin my movie
or my viewing
experience. The rest of it. Yeah, but
I think that M3GAN does everything that Child's Play remake wanted to do.
Agreed.
But actually makes it good. Whereas Child's Play remake's just like, I'm Chucky, but I have no personality and I look like I'm just taking a rubber poop.
Yeah, and then he proceeds to fucking destroy everyone in really cool, creative ways.
I will say
I didn't even see him kill anybody, barely.
The kills were cool.
He ripped off, he munched the dude's head off, like half of his head off with a garden thing, and then proceeded to take the skin off his face. He leather-faced him.
Yeah.
And then stuck the face in a kid's fucking bedroom. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
any other movie. Here's the thing: any other movie, you guys would be stoked for it. If that's pretty awesome.
That part is awesome. Yes, the rest of it just didn't.
The fucking guy hanging on the pole, the pipe that's heating up, and his feet getting fucking like ripped apart with a saw blade. That was and then falling onto the saw blade and sawing his leg off.
It was a really good. It was a really good severed leg. That leg,
solid severed leg.
That was a great leg.
Yeah, it was a great leg.
It was a good leg.
It was a good leg.
My complaint is that I was going to say what James said, which is I think M3GAN essentially tries to do what Child's Play was trying to do, and I think there's elements of the movie that I enjoy. The kills are great, the characters are fun, but it doesn't feel like a Chucky movie. They 100% tried to force this in a weird way. And then there's just little elements like, who would buy this doll? Like M3GAN at least has an explanation behind why there's like a full-size robot. It's the weird thing where everyone's like, why the fuck are we building this? And like, oh, because we're doing it this way. Whereas Child's Play, they're like, oh, it's a doll that we put in these weird fucking overalls and it controls all of the smart devices in your house. And I can't imagine a single family in America that's like, absolutely put that in my home.
Well, I mean, I need that. It's Alexa, but in doll form.
Which nobody wants
it doesn't make
which
any
nobody
sense,
fucking wants. Like, that's why they don't sell that.
Right. But also, maybe they don't sell it, or maybe people don't want it just because nobody's made it. I bet you it would sell.
It would sell to a small handful of people, but I think that's the whole thing is when he gets the doll, he's 13 years old, so it's not as... but it doesn't have the same impact that young Andy did.
Yeah, but he's 13 and he shouldn't be in charge of the house's electrical fucking...
But he's 13. He's like, this thing's for babies. And I'm like, it's also not for babies. You wouldn't give a doll like that to a 5-year-old.
Remote.
Yeah. With the things it can do.
I was fully expecting that fucking creepy janitor dude to be using it to like hack or some shit. He's just like, nah, just gonna sell it on eBay.
Yeah. Well, and what's also strange is the opening sequence is so weird to me. Like, why make the doll evil? At like, who does that get?
At
like,
any
your
point.
boss sucks. So why did you choose this route? Why are you like, oh, I'll show you? And then it's like, I'm going to commit suicide, but first let me ruin some random kid's life. Like, how does that
I think
back
it
at
was
your shitty boss at all?
Well, I think it was him saying,
fuck up the
fuck
company.
this whole company. Yeah, this is gonna go to cause everything to go to shit. But what I don't understand, well, I mean, I guess he did kill himself because maybe he knew that it would get traced back to him for doing that, and maybe
I think it's just he was gonna kill himself, and he's like, well, if I'm gonna kill myself, one last act of domestic terrorism,
right?
Just kill your boss. Like,
dude.
The boss that like assaulted you.
Creep-O-Rama pro tip: just kill your boss.
But also, follow-up tip: take down the whole company at the same time. I think it was very ambitious.
Okay, I'll give them that. Very ambitious.
Very ambitious. Especially, it's incredibly. It doesn't even work. It's so ambitious.
Yeah. No, at the end, they pulled all of the dolls.
No, they just only pulled the second one. The first one was still on the shelves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, is this the second version or the first one?
No, the first one is the one that fucked up.
The one that fucked. Okay, gotcha.
But that was another thing. Is at the end they show these other dolls. The bear was so fucking creepy and weird looking. And I'm like, just make it the bear the whole time.
Yeah.
If you had made this doll the bear, then it would have been an original film.
I will say, when I first saw the picture of the bear on like the box or whatever it was, looked creepier than when I actually saw the bear. And I instantly was like, maybe they tried to do the bear first and they were like, nah, that's too cute in person.
But it's funny that they have human emotion and express them like humans do. Like they were like the bear's super fucking angry in its face. It's like, shouldn't it be just emotionless? Like,
this one really made me realize how much the entire franchise of Child's Play hinges on his personality.
Right.
Exactly.
Right now.
Well, I think Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif, yeah. Brad Dourif's personality and like the one-liners and stuff, it really like, because this one doesn't have any of that really, and I
think that's why they focused more on the kills and the gore and stuff like that to make up for that. Yeah, it shouldn't have been a Child's Play remake.
It
should have just been an original. It should have just been an
original. I think it would have done a lot better.
Exactly. But M3GAN infused a bigger story and more stuff going on with it. Whereas this one was just a
do if
classic,
it's not Child's Play,
right? But this one was just a totally different. So it's the same vein of Chopping Mall. It's a 1980s hour and a half straightforward, just silly, gory, like movie.
Yeah.
Well, I would have liked a 1980s hour and a half silly, goofy, gory movie. That's what it was. But it's not 80s.
There's a scene in the movie where they make fun of the fact he can't be scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then he proceeds to kill everybody.
But he's not scary while he does it.
No, James, his eyes are red. They're very scary.
You gotta put. That's so funny. Like the tattoo industry. There's a thing that puts a red in the eyes to make it look evil, and I was like, "Yep, they did it. They did it.
Yep. Oh, yeah, of course.
Put some red in the eyes, make it look evil."
What I love when he fucking stabs the boss or whatever in the throat, and the guy takes the helmet off.
Yeah,
it's just a torrential downpour of blood all over this kid's face.
I love that it also looks like. When he pulls the helmet off, it clearly looks like there was blood going into the helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, it's dope.
One thing I didn't realize, and I think there's like a feud between two studios with this and M3GAN, because MGM Studios has the rights to the original Child's Play.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Universal has the rights to the sequels. And then MGM puts out this remake, and they couldn't, they just had to remake the original. And they try to do some modernized, adaptation and go a whole different route. And I feel like Universal's like, fuck you. Like, we'll do what you did, but make it way fucking better. I thought.
Yeah. That's how it feels for me. Yeah.
And then, and now they're doing M3GAN 2.0, which comes out next year, which I don't know if Child's Play could if MGM keeps going.
I don't think MGM can do a sequel because Universal owns the rights to Child's Play 2. So they would have to
they wouldn't,
they would probably have to do like a Jason Goes to Hell thing and call it something else because MGM can only make Child's Play. Anything beyond that has to go through Universal.
See, what you do is you just take it. You can go ahead and steal this idea from me, Universal or MGM, whoever.
Pay us.
Yeah, pay us. Pay us for this idea. Child's Playhouse, and you do a demented Pee-wee's Playhouse.
There you go. Yeah.
Or a Chucky versus M3GAN.
Call it House Play.
Chucky versus M3GAN would be dope. Although M3GAN would absolutely win.
Oh, yeah, she's smart.
She could TikTok dance around his moves.
They've hinted at it, but M3GAN, the movie, exists within the TV show's canon. I think they addressed it in the last season of Chucky.
Really?
So,
awesome.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So they can't fight each other because she's a fictional character, I think, in his world. But I mean, they've fucked around with that reality so many times. I'm sure they could find a way.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck on that show.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the polar bear versus gorilla all over again there.
Yeah.
I mean,
M3GAN would, But that's why.
M3GAN's got the size advantage.
She does.
But why do both of these dolls have the strength? Like, why does Chucky have this strength?
I don't understand it.
The wrong question.
He's a doll.
That's why M3GAN works for me better. Because M3GAN has more leverage just because her arms are bigger, essentially.
Yeah.
Dude,
like M3GAN has that strength because she's a robot. Like she's made out of what's supposed to be like the top of the line.
She's made out of titanium.
Like
she's got a song about it and everything.
But it's a child's
both of these things
doll.
Sing, which is very funny to me. The Chucky doll, I don't know, they don't really address why they gave it the ability to like run and stab and do
murder people
everything that it does because it should just be a doll. Whereas M3GAN, they're like, this is essentially like an android babysitter. That's why she has the capability to do all these things and learn and adapt. She imprints on your child. And at least through the whole movie, they're like, isn't that a bad fucking idea? And they're like, yeah, but money. That's why I think what makes it more realistic is you're like, they would like, at least somebody's like, this seems stupid. This seems dangerous.
I do like that, although nobody that actually makes a difference, but I do like in M3GAN where it's like showing like, no, this is why this is a bad idea.
Right.
Like, well, like even her fucking like flipping shit on well, I guess not the mom, but like, man, I was like, that's where we're going with this fucking thing.
Speaking of flipping off the mom, I love the scene at that outdoor school. The kid, fuck off, Holly.
That was
a fun age. It's such a fun age.
Did you guys watch the PG-13 version or the unrated M3GAN?
I definitely
unrated.
I made sure to watch the unrated one.
I think it was PG-13. Damn.
So in the PG-13 version, that's the only fuck that you get. But in the unrated cut, they let Ronnie Chang say fuck like 12 times. And it's just literally any time. Version? You can find it on demand. I own it. I can let you use my login if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more F-bombs and then a little bit more gore.
Yeah. Wasn't the kill in the woods or something like that? Wasn't that much more graphic in the unrated
It's definitely edited down for the
it's more graphic, but I feel like it works either way because in the PG-13 version you just see his ear getting stretched like to an inhuman degree and it's so uncomfortable, but in the unrated version you see it tear and then all the blood's like pour out, which is pretty fucking gnarly too. And then in both you still see him get hit by a car, which is pretty glorious.
I didn't realize they.
Yeah, I'm always down for like getting hit by a car.
It's one of my favorite. The fucking off-screen fucking automatically get hit. The Mean Girls, the Final Destination.
Yeah.
So it's never not satisfying.
There's a movie, that movie Ma. Which I know the rest of it was kind of silly, but there's a solid one in that one, like solid. There's like a good ramp up to it. She's like you're in that car when that hits, and it's great.
Is that
I got to rewatch
watch?
that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
We saw it in theaters, and I was like, what the fuck was this? Like, I feel like it may have been a little bit mismarketed, but I feel like if I go in now with the right attitude, it'll be fun.
Right. Even the trailer, I was thinking, what the fuck is this? When I saw that?
It's tough for me to like try to get into it because it just feels like my life in Bradenton of just like, I guess we'll just go hang out with this random fucking person who has drugs.
But she makes it. She's such a good actress.
Yeah, she's great.
I mean, she's great in everything that I've ever seen her do, but in that one she's fucking creepy. That movie's also I want to say it was I think I told you guys this. I don't know if we told it on the podcast, but Adam, I don't know if it's Levine or Levine, dude from Workaholics.
Divine.
Yeah. That's what happened to him is what that movie's based off of.
Yeah, he used to live in Bradenton.
Did he? Yeah. No. But he, I think he was friends with the writer. But yeah, I watched a podcast episode where they were he was saying like there was like an adult when he was in high school that would like feed his buddies like alcohol and like all kinds of stuff. And they were at one point he got really wasted. And the mom was trying to get him to like get in bed with their teenage daughter to like cuddle up, and he was like, this is really weird, man. And his buddy like came in, and he was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So then I think years later, like he told his buddy, and then his buddy wrote that movie. At least that's what he said in the podcast. So they took that up and like cranked it, which. The real version sounds just as fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, solid scene of people of somebody getting run over by a truck. Great.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah.
We have the important
car crash tangent. Sorry. Huh?
No, we're good.
Important conversations.
Yes.
Right.
That was I'm trying to remember the name. It was Game of Death was another one I just watched recently that was overall bad, but had a very strong person getting hit by a car scene.
Game of Death. Sounds like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
It's actually a Bruce Lee movie from way back when. But the one I'm talking about is not the Bruce Lee movie. It's some fucking shitty. I don't say shitty. It's not.
I knew there had to have been terrible. More than the Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, this Game of Death came out like 6 years ago or something, and it's about this group of just the most annoying fucking teenagers you could think of, all partying in a house, and they find this game. And it says like place your finger on the marker to play the game, and so they all place their fingers on it, and then needles come up and like poke their fingers and take a piece of their blood.
I saw
and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And then it's like you have to kill 5 people or whatever, or you're all going to start dying. And they're like, whatever, I don't believe it. And of course, one of them dies violently and very graphically. And they're like, oh shit, the Game of Death is real. We have to start murdering people.
You die and then it takes.
I think we talked about this before because it takes a weird turn into incest. And then there's like,
what?
Derek? That's why Derek's like, I've seen that. Yeah. It was in the recommended for me list I was looking at earlier. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a scene where they're like, we need to kill one more person, or they're making their tallies.
I gotta kill one more person by noon, or my mom's gonna break up with me.
He's just like a total sociopath, and he runs this guy over in his car and like goes over him multiple times, and then gets out of the car, and just the graphic like aftermath is so gruesome. And I'm like, all right, practical effects are carrying this movie because these characters, not a single fucking likable character.
No,
in the entire
movie
film.
Sucked.
Even the incest didn't keep me.
Yeah, but, it was weak. Pretty weak incest.
I'm so glad it's been so long since we had an incest throwback.
Yeah. I don't know if glad is the right word.
Wasn't expecting it on the AI episode, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm happy to keep it alive. Yeah.
Yeah, glad we got to sneak it in there.
Yeah, that's how you want your incest really snuck.
Yeah. Jesus. We can't be out in the open with it, bud. That's illegal.
You're right.
There's no way these first 60 episodes that we have could ever be monetized.
Could you imagine if this is the first one somebody watches?
Yeah.
Creep-O-Rama podcast probably brought to you by the Church of Latter-day Christ.
Yeah. I think it really sets the tone. And now for a message from me, Undies.
All right.
MeUndies, they're really comfortable for when you take them off during incest. Oh
no! What do you do? Never mind. So which Game of Death is this? 2017 or the one with Wesley Snipes?
It's got to be 2017. It's definitely didn't have Wesley Snipes.
One with Wesley Snipes.
I wish it was both. I wish it was Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Ideally, yes. No, I think this one was 2017.
Wesley Snipes only observes the incest.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring this back to Chopping Mall real quick.
Yes.
Because the dude that designed the robots, Robert Short, he just did like it was wheelchair motors and conveyor belts and roller skate wheels. But they were initially going to shoot this at the Beverly Center, which ended up being way too expensive, and they shot it at the Sherman Oaks Galleria Mall, which the escalators weren't as wide, so they couldn't fit on the escalators, and they had scenes that they wanted to fit in the escalators, which they did do, but in those shots, there's just some editing trickery where you see like half of the robot going up, and then it cuts, and then it's just the robot rolling away from. It was just a guy in a robot suit costume, I guess, going up. But anyways, all that aside, I was very curious how many movies have been shot at the Sherman Oaks Galleria Mall, because I knew of a few.
It's the same mall as Commando.
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely the same.
It is Commando.
You can just tell because it's got all that like crisscrossy stuff in the middle.
Listen to this list: Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Valley Girl, Night of the Comet, Commando, Back to the Future Part 2, Terminator 2, Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, Walk Like a Man, Inner Space, Chopping Mall, Crazy Stupid Love. That was the list.
Is that mall still there?
Yeah,
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
We need to take a fucking. We need to fly to California, visit this mall, and then come back and do a podcast episode.
There's nothing special about that mall,
except that Commando was filmed there.
Yeah, and Terminator 2,
Arnold,
peak Arnold
2.
I did see Rihanna at that mall once, and we made eye contact for like 0.2 seconds. But for me, it was like 10 seconds, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
There it is.
She ever call you back?
Yeah.
That's for another podcast. Derek could do 90 minutes on his eye contact with Rihanna.
I really wonder what part where they filmed. I mean, obviously they filmed it there, but what part of Night of the Comet where it was filmed at?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like any of those parts. Although it's funny that it is Kelly Maroney.
Right, I was just thinking.
Right.
Yeah, same actress.
She's just like, I know the perfect mall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's always her recommendation. I met her at the Slasher Size premiere a few weeks ago. She is like,
nice,
so tiny and so sweet.
Yeah,
she seems really nice.
She's the best.
And same thing with Barbara.
Yeah,
like she seems so awesome. But I think going back to her death scene, I think obviously it was brutal, but the way she played that, like she just killed. Well, I guess kills it is not the proper term, but
she just dies it.
She does a really good job dying. Yeah, she really sells it. Yeah, she sells it always.
Yeah.
Everybody's all the girls' screams in that movie are so like terrible in the best way. They're just like,
it's brutal.
Yeah. Justin, how'd you do with the spiders?
I was really disappointed that nobody gave me a heads up. Even though I've seen this movie a bunch of times, I always forget that that's in there.
Well, and it's
usually James throws me a lifeline.
The responsibility's on you if you've seen the movie before.
Just a heads up, man. Don't forget spiders.
Yeah,
and I'm always like, oh yeah, thanks, dude. Like, really appreciate it. But this time I was drowning and no one saved me.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there eating some M&Ms and I was like, God damn it. Why did I always forget that it's in there? Because like it's a mall. Why would there be spiders?
Yeah.
And so I always, every time I always forget that when I go into this movie.
Did you notice the name of the pet shop?
No, what was it?
Was it Roger's Little Shop of Pets?
Fucking
Roger. Nice.
And the place where they get the guns from is Peck and Paws.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Peckinpahs?
Yeah, Sam Peckinpah.
That makes sense.
Who's that?
Yeah.
The crap. What the fuck is the name of that movie?
I can't remember anything.
Pause. I'm thinking why
Peckinpah.
Pause it sounds like a place where you can go get some dogs.
No,
Yes.
Sam Peckinpah is a writer director who did The Wild Bunch.
Wild Bunch. There's another. There's
Straw Dogs.
So like
Straw Dogs. That's the one I was.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
So why'd they name a gun store after?
Because
it's just like an homage.
Super violent.
Oh,
yeah. A lot of gun violence in this movie.
God, a lot of gun.
But also the Little Shop
Good
of Pets is Roger Corman did the Little Shop before.
Yeah.
Right.
In case you didn't know.
Right. I feel like those could have been a little bit more on the nose, but yeah. It's pretty good.
Evil Justin's just mad that he didn't notice them and put two and two together.
Yeah.
And he's like, sorry. That wasn't explained well enough for me, and that's on them.
The fuck you, we like George Romero bookstore.
Yeah. I did see in Wynorski's one of his interviews, he was talking about that scene with the spiders. They had someone like a handler with snakes, tarantulas, and scorpions. And who's the actress
going up on them?
Yeah. Who's the actress in that scene?
Kelly Maroney.
Yeah. She asked Wynorski, she said, hey, didn't you say you would never have one of your actors do something you wouldn't do? He said, yeah, that's right. And she said, can I see you handle those 3 animals? And so they gave him snakes.
Animals.
He was handling the snakes. They gave him the tarantulas, and he couldn't do the scorpions. And she said, all right, well, I'm not doing the scorpions either. That's why they're not in the scene.
It's fair.
Yeah, that is pretty fair.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no. If we ever make movies, no spiders.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm down for spiders. Dude. I'll do the spider scene.
All right, we're gonna cover Derek and spiders and have him fight a grizzly bear.
Yeah, you could totally direct that. Yeah. One of my biggest fears in life is like, what happens if we ever do get to make movies and somebody's like, okay, this is the movie we want you guys to make, and it's a giant spider movie, and it's like, what the fuck?
No.
Well, if it's a giant spider movie, that'll be a fake spider. So I think you could hang.
That doesn't matter.
Oh.
You guys are talking about the word spider, and my feet are not even touching the ground at this point. Like literally in this moment.
Yeah. You know another reason your feet wouldn't be touching the ground? If you were riding a giant spider.
True.
That's true.
I'd be dead, dude.
So can you not even do like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
No, dude. I watched Beetlejuice the other night, and like, you know, I have that movie. I've seen it so many times that I just remember all of the exact moments that spider is in it. So I know exactly when to look away. Return of the King, still never seen that whole scene.
What about Wild Wild West?
Mechanical spider.
Oh yeah, that was a big one. That's a big one.
It's a great movie. We got to watch that one.
So good.
Episode.
I just rewatched it. I love that fucking
Did you?
Yeah, I fucking love that movie.
Really? I don't think I've seen it since it came out.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah,
there's
I've
so
seen
many
it since
fucking
theaters.
gadgets. I'm a whore for gadgets, bro.
We got to do a gadgets episode, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Wild Wild West Inspector Gadget. Like.
Oh man. Yeah, you know what? Like that's a good point. You don't really see that many characters in movies anymore with gadgets.
Yeah.
We need more
kind of
gadgets.
just yeah. There was back in the day there was gadgets everywhere.
Yeah, gadgets galore even.
Yeah.
Gadgets galore.
Yeah, you don't really see that many gadgets.
Yeah.
You could have used more gadgets in these movies. Instead of relying on a fucking doll for everything.
It's too expensive to make gadget props anymore.
Yeah, but I don't know if gadgets could be as demented as that doll, dude.
I did like that he was inspired by. Also, what fucking order were they watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
They were watching
just like a montage,
a YouTube remix.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
That was funny.
But dude, I love how much they put in too. They were like, this movie sucks. I guess we'll just slam a whole bunch of Texas Chainsaw 2 in here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I literally have a note that says the guys can't hate this too much, considering TCM2 is the main influence for the whole thing.
I don't
stand corrected.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate the part with TCM2.
Fuck
yeah, I don't hate the movie either.
Yeah, I don't hate the movie.
I gave it 3 stars.
I think I gave it 3 stars as well.
Yeah, it's a 3-star movie.
Because I went in, I told you guys, I went into the theater. I was gonna just skip it because Chucky's my favorite, and when I heard that he was AI and not voodoo, I was like, well, then that's not a fucking Chucky movie, so I don't need to see it. And then other people saw it and they're like, it was actually surprisingly good. Like some great kills, like it's pretty brutal. The music's really good, and I'm like, all right, I've got AMC A-list or whatever. Like I'll check it out. And I went in just expectations in the dirt, and as I was watching it, I was like, all right, I am having a fun time with this. Like I can abandon like reason, and I can ignore that it's a child's play movie and have fun with the stuff about this movie that I like. And then I got out of the theater and I was like, that was surprisingly more fun than I anticipated. I enjoyed that. And then I never watched it again until this episode. And then we threw it on last night, and I'm sitting here watching it and I was like, yeah, not hitting me the way that it did the first time around. But I think it's because I went in expecting to enjoy it again. Yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe my expectations were a little too high, and having them as low as they were the first time around. Whereas M3GAN, I've watched like 5 or 6 times, and it gets better with every rewatch for me. I love M3GAN.
See, I watched most of M3GAN the first time, and then something happened and interrupted me, and we weren't doing an episode on it, so I didn't go back to it yet. And this time I rewatched it from the beginning. I was like, I really like it. I really
it's great.
It.
Yeah.
And then now partially my mistake is that I watched Child's Play after I watched M3GAN. So I was like, well, yeah.
See, I watched Child's Play right after Chopping Mall, so I was already in the stupid slasher kind of vibe of just watching people get taken out.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, cool. I was in the right headspace to
I felt like he wasn't killing enough people, and I just can't get over his face. I can't, because like that's the thing is, the actual Child's Plays, I was actually scared of the doll.
Yeah.
Because like he brought the doll to life.
You were also 7 years old, though. I'm sure 7-year-olds would be scared of this.
25.
Chucky. Oh, okay.
But also the actual practical Chucky doll from the original films, like that is such a masterwork of animatronic, and the way they made it.
A huge part of my problem is specifically that they went the rubber face route. I think that they could have done like an actual, not just one piece face, and gotten more like scariness out of it.
I was trying to figure out how much CGI was utilized, because I know it was used on the eyes. But I don't know how much of it is used all over the face, because I know a lot of it is animatronic, but I had a hard time deciphering what was. It looks off. So
oh yeah, he looks horrible.
I know him
stupid as
jumping at the screen at the end was definitely CGI, because that shit looked like a fucking Sega game for a second there.
Yeah. My Letterboxd review was just I gave it 3 stars too. Actually, I gave it 3.5, and then my Letterboxd review was just this is for Tupac indeed.
So the dude like doing Tupac? I missed that.
They were trying to get him to say this is for Tupac and have him stab a stuffed unicorn
just to make it viral.
To make it go viral.
Yeah, to get a viral video out of it.
But he knew the doll. Yeah, the doll knew that they were videotaping it. So that's why it started just be doing normal. I watched doll every stuff.
Fucking second of this movie.
It's tough sometimes.
It was tough. It was a character Omar that had a very heavy Canadian accent.
Yeah.
Can we? I say we just keep moving. That exists. We all know it now.
Bad casting. But I thought it was it was fun.
I don't love Aubrey Plaza. I love Aubrey Plaza, but I don't know if she's right for this role.
My one note about her, I thought she was fine. However,
I thought she was fine, but she never feels like an actual mom.
Yeah, I thought that it was I did not buy in any way that her character would be dating a guy that big of an asshole. I was like, that's kind of silly. Yeah. I get that was the whole point or dynamic, but it was
a shitty, like, played out dynamic. Like, that's what was cool about M3GAN. Yeah. It was a unique approach to the family dynamic. And
that's a huge reason that I just don't like Child's Play, is because it's just, and I mean, this isn't really like, this is just the way things are, but like, it's just victim to that, like, not enough time to polish this movie and make it really good, which I feel M3GAN has that too. I feel watching M3GAN, there's a bunch of points where it's not that they made a wrong choice, it's that they could have taken some of their choices further than like, they like, I really want while she's dancing to kill him, not she does a dance, picks up a knife and then chases him.
Oh yeah.
Like, she does the swing, and I just wanted her to slit his throat in the swing. So he's like, "Wait, what?"
I'm sure we'll get that in the sequel.
They fucking better. Otherwise, I'm rioting.
Because that whole scene went crazy.
That's why it's PG-13. It was they were going to keep the R rating, and then when that first look went viral, and they saw that like 15 and 16-year-olds were sharing it on TikTok, and it was blowing up amongst younger audiences, they were like,
gotta do.
Can we cut a few things and make this PG-13? And they didn't have to sacrifice much, so they went for it.
Yeah, they did a good. Yeah, they did a good job of not ruining the movie, because I mean, how many times have we watched PG-13 horror movies and gone like, okay, this would have been a million times better had they just kept it the way that it was.
Oh, for sure.
I will say, speaking of horror, I don't know if it's PG-13. It might be, but so Chopping Mall, beginning of it has Bruce Pelter, I can't remember what his fucking name is, but the Mary Woronov, the couple in the beginning, they're in they're in the little sales pitch thing. I'm trying to get Justin on board. The sales pitch
yes. I don't remember names, dude. I don't
I need a reaction.
The whole thing, dude.
They are playing. I kind of already knew this, but I'd never like looked into it further. They're playing specifically the couple from their movie Eating Raoul, and they actually make references to Eating Raoul.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the restaurant that they're. Have any of you seen Eating Raoul?
No, it's been on my Max watch list for months. I've heard great things.
It's a weird movie. It's really weird. It's very, very dark. It's like Coffee Table, but if it was a cartoon.
Jesus.
And I mean, there's no. Let's get that right out of it. But like, it has the same vibe as. To me, it's just like if they took, like, Coffee Table took Eating Raoul and just cranked all the fucking like comedy way down into like real bleak. Whereas like they're like, hey, we're gonna start this restaurant, so we need to kill all these people, but it's really like centered in their apartment, and it's just like killing all these people. They're all swingers. It's really weirdly sexual.
Directed by Paul Bartel as well, apparently.
Yeah, he directed it, and like they kill all these people, and it's completely bloodless. Like everything is like, oh, it's just off screen, and you hear a pan bonk, and now he's dead. It's just real like slapsticky. It was just weird. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I've seen Chopping Mall so many times. I'm gonna fucking watch Eating Raoul, and I'm not. I don't regret that I did, but man, it's a weird movie.
Why is it called Eating Raoul?
You're gonna have to watch it.
Raoul.
There is a Raoul.
Ryu.
Yes. Sure, you can
fucking.
Sure, eat him,
dude.
Yeah, like we're all just okay. So next episode's we're eating Raoul.
Yeah.
I do want to highlight one of my favorite moments, and I'm so glad this became a moment, because when we were in the theater, I was cackling the first time I saw M3GAN, and I was like, that is one of the funniest like moments I've seen. And it's when the detective is there, and he's like, this is the second instance that you've had. And she's like, are you trying to draw a connection? And she's like, that was an accident. He was hit by a car. And he's like, that's what we thought, but we found his ear several yards away from the scene, damn near torn right off. I shouldn't laugh. And that whole moment, like as soon as he says I shouldn't laugh, I was like, that's fucking that guy had like 2 lines, and he is the most memorable scene in this entire film. He's apparently friends with the director Gerard Johnstone, who did Housebound. Have you guys seen Housebound?
Yes.
Housebound's the shit.
Oh yeah, that movie fucking whips.
Yeah.
So he's done a couple of movies with.
It's been a little bit. It's newer.
Yeah, I think I want to say it's like 2014. Yeah. He had done movies with Gerard before, and they were about to film that scene, and I think the guy who was supposed to film it dropped out, or it was like something happened during production, and so Gerard called the actor. I wish I had written his name down. It was like, "Hey, I just need you to come to set for like an hour and play a detective questioning our main character. Like, you don't even have a name. You just show up, you've got a notepad, you say 2 lines, and then you're good. Can you do that?" And he was like, "Of course. Like, I love working with Gerard. I was excited. Let's try it." And so he just shows up, and he's like chewing gum. His hair's still wet, like his loose necktie, does the scene, doesn't think anything of it, and leaves. And he was doing an interview for like Variety or something about the standout performance in M3GAN, and he was like, "I had no idea it was going to be like memorable. I thought I was doing 5 seconds of this film as a favor to my friend, the director. And then people started tweeting at me, and I was like, wait, what?"
That's amazing.
Yeah. Millen Baird.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
the actor.
That's right.
So this Housebound movie is awesome.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's on Pluto TV or Tubi.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a dope horror movie that is totally streaming for free right now.
I'm going to screenshot this and then never go back to see it.
Yeah, that's how it works.
It'll get lost.
I got a list of movies to watch, and I keep going. And every time I'm like, "Ooh, I need to watch that," I go into the list. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I need to watch all these." And then I never remember it until there's a new movie I need to watch.
My watch list on Letterboxd now is at 192.
Jesus. What's mine at? Mine was just a bunch of open tabs in Chrome, and then I was like, Letterboxd has a feature. Let me try that.
That is my Letterboxd.
Yeah. I've got about like 15 different notes or lists in my notes app of different shows and movies that I always forget.
Josh, you got 95 on yours.
Oh, that seems modest, honestly. I think there's some I still need to add in there. But yeah, my watch list.
Make that long.
I don't want to blame you guys.
High on your watch list.
I've never seen it. It's somebody I follow.
John Lovitz.
That's a great movie,
dude. Yeah, it's
I've never seen it. Yeah, so I threw it on there. But I don't want to blame you guys. But doing this podcast every week, I now have 3 movies assigned to me that I have to watch, and it takes up the time when I would be digging into my watch list.
Cemetery Man's great. Looking at your watch list,
and I want to fucking watch it. It's on Shudder now.
Cemetery Man. Oh, we might
never seen Cemetery Man.
A couple weeks ago, I think it was. It's fucking awesome.
Dude,
I do like that you can shuffle your Letterboxd watch list, because that's how I started. If I didn't know what to watch, I would just do that, and then whatever's the top of the list, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. See, I would always try and do something like that, and then it would give me an option, and I'd be like, but do I want to watch
that? I'm in the mood for that right now.
Let's try that again. And then I would just sit there for an hour, and I'm like, fuck my life.
My option paralysis is so. That's why honestly, that's I make a joke of it pretty regularly, but that is my purpose of this podcast, is to just be like, oh, I got to watch these movies. No, I don't need to think about it.
Yeah. Tell me what I have to watch, because I would not have watched the Jaws sequels this summer otherwise.
And that was a life-changing experience.
Yeah,
exactly. Like we should just do episodes where we pick one movie off of our watch lists so we could get through them.
I only have 20 movies on my. All right, watch list episode.
Yeah,
all right.
I think that's my problem. Is if I shuffle it, it's always going to tell me like the 2 hour and 45 minute Japanese movie that everyone says is incredible, and I'm like, I don't have fucking time to read subtitles for 3 hours right now, guys. I have to multitask.
What's funny is one of mine's just 7 Samurai.
But no, I did watch M3GAN for like the 7th time this weekend, and Chopping Mall for probably I want to say it's like the 4th or 5th time I've watched Chopping Mall.
Yeah, it's funny
when
I was. Please
go ahead, Derek.
No, please.
No, go ahead.
No, I've talked too much already.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Derek's gonna be our new non-talking member.
Right? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
We do video, and he's just there.
But yeah, so I've seen Chopping Mall a lot, and there's a scene where It's Allison and Ferdy. They're watching a black and white movie, and I was just like, "What? I wonder what movie that is." And I looked it up, and it's Attack of the Crab Monsters, and which is a Roger Corman movie from 1957. And I watched that right after Chopping Mall. And
nice!
It's fucking dope. Attack of the Crab Monsters was awesome.
I want to say that on the Joe Bob thing, Kelly was saying that he absolutely hated that his movie was included in it. And they were like, stop. It's a fucking, like, it's a compliment. And he's like, no, I hate it. Like, Corman's just like, fuck
Corman
off.
Didn't like having his movie in there?
Yeah.
Really? That's weird.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, dude. I don't get it.
Homage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they gave him several homages throughout that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Homages.
What were you going to say, Justin?
Oh, yeah, please.
Homage.
Yeah, something totally different that I forgot, but new thought just popped into my head. How do those little robots stay on an escalator? Well, you mentioned that earlier.
It's a guy in a suit.
But, well, yeah, I know. But I mean, like,
duct tape.
Yeah, because, like, their wheels are, you know, it's kind of like a tank.
Yeah, they're like conveyor belts.
I can understand it's like maybe going up it. But,
yeah, I really want
staying in one spot.
I want the fucking deleted scene of like one of them actually trying to go up, and it's just like totally diagonal. Treads are just spinning, and the escalators just keep going, and it's like help me, help me, help.
Could you?
That's the 15 minutes that was edited out. Actually,
that was the 15 minutes.
This is not conducive to being a killbot.
Can you imagine if you were the guy that designed those robots and they're like, "Hey, we changed locations." It's like, fuck, it doesn't fit anywhere now.
Uh-oh.
And I know that I was reading that they had to shoot the whole movie at night because the mall was still operating throughout the day and they couldn't afford renting it. But the owner of the mall was like, "Yeah, as long as there's no, you don't break anything and there's no damage anywhere and it's clean." So I mean. The fucking broken glass everywhere and pyrotechnics and all the shit they were doing is pretty impressive that apparently they were able to keep it clean for the
I love
day.
the shots in the beginning where they're in the fucking room and they just start shooting lasers into it, and there's just like a porcelain pig on a chair that explodes. And it's like, why was this even in the store?
Yeah.
They just needed shit to blow up.
We pulled this out just for the party. Party pig.
It's funny that one of the first scenes where they break glass, and this is a testament to how low of a budget they had. I think it was $800,000. They kept reusing the broken glass. So they'd break the glass and they'd keep all the glass shards and then they'd reuse it. Yeah, just like throw it and shit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. But
reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah.
Do you think, going back to Josh's comment earlier in the episode of like nobody would buy that or who would want that. Do you think that we're going to see something to this effect at some point soon? Maybe not fucking killbots, but
I think we're likely to see killbots before we are to see a bipedal human.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be fuck. We've had drones for 20
they already
years.
kind of exist.
Yeah. We've had killbots for a couple decades.
You could pretty easily strap a fucking machine gun to one of those yellow Boston Dynamics dogs.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they don't need guns.
See...
Those things could fuck you up just without guns.
Well, if they need something, you could pretty reliably just run up and kick them in the side.
They're getting pretty good now at keeping their balance, though.
That's why you just flip it over and grab it.
Now what would win? One of those or a gorilla? I would say a gorilla.
Probably still a gorilla. Yeah. No, I could see the dolls becoming, depending on how, obviously, like AI's insane and stupid and making just like garbage artwork, whatever. But if they figure out a way to ethically and without draining the fucking grid, like source AI in a certain way, and then it becomes something that's more affordable and more adaptable and more approachable, I could see like the perpetual pets at the beginning of M3GAN, where it's just like this little Furby knockoff that chats with you and lights up and shit. I could see them releasing a Furby-ish or Tickle Me Elmo style doll that has the technology to kind of get to know your kid.
Bro, Furbies, I remember when those things came out, that was like a cultural event.
Yeah. Weirdly,
that was
I never understood it.
Me neither.
No, I never had one or got the appeal, but I remember when it happened and fucking everyone else had one. I was like,
it was nuts.
Stick your finger in its mouth.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I had troll dolls. Like I had a shitload.
Oh, dude, I had so many troll dolls.
I had Tamagotchi.
I had a Tamagotchi. I had a. It did not survive very long. But it was definitely.
Yeah, my mom bought a Furby, and I remember going to Toys R Us. And it was just like a fucking mob of people after that damn doll.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
And this was a while after it came out, and people were still going apeshit over it. And then we got it back home and put batteries in it, and it scared the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
It would like always like that classic thing of like, oh, you remember when your Furby would like, make noises and like randomly go off in the night. And like, that happened all the time. It was horrifying.
Yeah.
Nope. Not into it.
But
neither was I.
Yeah. I don't think we get to a place where we have physical dolls like that. Cause I like, why the hardware? It's all going to be digital. Like we'll have VR glasses, goggles, and then it'll just
that's why I think it'll be, it's not going to be I don't want to say her name because I have them in my apartment and she will respond, but the Amazon devices that
Alexa, play Converge.
We're not going to have children's dolls that connect to your fucking air conditioning system and lights and the grid. But I feel like the AI option, there's an app out there where it just creates an AI avatar of a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And this is somebody that you can just chat with. And as it gets to know you, it becomes a better friend to you. And you're literally just like texting back and forth with somebody who does not exist.
Yeah.
But
so Her, that movie Her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I could see them trying to put that kind of tech into like a stuffed doll for kids. But I feel like only a handful of parents out there would actually go
very
that
few.
far and trust it. And in most cases, they'd be like, no, you shouldn't be playing with a fake toy you should have friends. Go fucking outside. Like, what are you doing?
I'm pretty sure those connection issues that they were talking about, that's already happening with fucking iPads.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what M3GAN did really well. It was still a fun, I don't want to say goofy movie. It did have goofy elements to it. It didn't take itself too seriously.
Right.
No,
while at the same time still taking a serious stance, but social commentary on parenting and technology. Screen time, that's a real thing. And with AI,
and there's also the making like what you're describing, Josh, like making something like that specifically for kids. Like I've seen videos where parents have catch people in the middle of talking to their kids through monitors and through webcams and shit like that they've hacked into their network. So I can only imagine if there are kid dolls that run off of all of that, and specifically to watch kids or do something to that effect, how many fucking weird people would try and hack those.
Here's the thing.
I mean, it would be nuts.
I 100% think that stuff like that is coming, unless there's stuff put in to protect against AI shit, because absolutely these companies want that data, man. They want to see how your kid interacts with shit. They want to see how you interact with your kid. They want to see it's just, and I don't want any of that shit in my house. I don't even have fucking like Alexas and shit in my house.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
I'm not into it.
But I do understand that it would probably happen more along the lines of an app or just an Alexa on steroids.
Everything is.
I mean, you all have iPhones. You have the exact same tech.
Right.
Pretty much.
You
exactly.
do have it.
Your phone is absolutely reading your information.
Right. Well, I guess that's the dividing line between what we're watching, or like the robots and this movie or these movies versus what kind of AI we have. We really don't have. James and I were just talking about this the other day. We don't really have actual AI.
No, it's not. It's just machine learning.
Yeah. It's not. it's not the ability to think for itself.
It's not an intelligence.
Yeah, it looks nothing like Haley Joel Osment.
It's a fucking pattern recognition system that can be easily fucking derailed.
It's a Google search engine on like
no, unfortunately, it just is the Google search engine now.
right.
Oh, it's
but like you look at
too,
oh,
right,
God, it's
and
so
it's
bad.
but then you look at what the Child's Play doll does in the Child's Play remake is. Yeah, they removed the protocol, the safety protocols and the Violet protocols and all that stuff. So that way it can make decisions.
But it's
AI that we have now.
Too. Yeah.
Right. And it's learning, it's taking in information and making decisions based off those information.
Well, it's AI versus AGI, right? The artificial general intelligence, which they say like we're not far from that. I think it definitely will get to that.
Well, they had some issue with one of the AI generators like starting to push back on its creator, right? Was it the Google one?
I think it was. Yeah, they
or the Microsoft one was.
Well, Microsoft one's ChatGPT, right?
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
But I think it was a Google
I didn't know
AI.
that.
Well, I know Microsoft. Yeah, they did they buy it or did they?
I think they
probably bought it.
Yeah, I think
probably bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they just ruled that Google is a monopoly on search engines.
Oh wow!
The other day. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not
so. Yeah, that should be interesting to see what they do in response to that.
It'll be interesting to see how they sidestep that.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking about it, and probably the most likely place that we're gonna see something with AI in like a human form is gonna be sex dolls or some shit.
Oh yeah,
I think you're more sure. because of the reasons that we were talking.
What
about.
Are sex dolls?
That industry always pushes technology.
Dude, that just made me think of the scene in Tropic Thunder when he's talking about like the different or why Blu-ray versus HD DVDs. Because of gamers and porn.
Yeah.
Why male models?
Are you serious? I just told you.
I think you are right though, actually, because that is like two separate notes here. Sorry, you said sex dolls. I just remembered 17 stories I needed to tell you. No.
So there was this one time I got a brand new one.
When I found out
a list for that
real dolls existed and like what they were, and my buddy was like, "You've never heard of real doll?" And I'm like, "No." He brought up the website, and I was like, these are like $5,000 or $6,000 like base. I mean, and that's if you're like just pick a template. Otherwise, if you want like custom hair and eyes and shit, I'm like, this is insane. People pay this kind of money. He's like, oh yeah, weirdos. Like it's like some people are lonely. It's essentially it's just a sex toy, but you have that kind of money to spend. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I could see them absolutely adapting it to like the girlfriend experience where they plug in
100%.
a voice and let it like learn
her with a sex doll.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Joaquin Phoenix was missing. If he had that, dude, he'd be fucking set.
He never would have came out of his apartment.
But the other funny thing was
away, he gets super skinny and doesn't eat.
Becomes a Joker.
It's been 22 years and I'm just steady thrusting.
People we didn't realize. No, the other
broke. That's why he became the Joker. I lost my one true love.
That's why he had to go shoot fucking
De Niro.
Yep.
Anyway,
get what you deserve.
Josh.
No,
we live in a
stupid joke.
All broke.
Well, no, it wasn't even a joke. It was a very troubling realization on social. NECA released a full-size M3GAN doll. That is,
oh wow!
I think we saw it at Midsummer Scream. It looks incredible. It's so cool. And if you're a big fan of M3GAN like I am, then you're like, "Fuck, I would love to have this like collectible in my house because it's creepy." I have a Chucky doll. I'd put her right next to Chucky. It'd be fun.
I know where this is going. I don't like
so naively posted a video. I was like, oh, look at this doll. I wanted it so cool because I love M3GAN. And like half the comments are like, what are you going to do with that doll, Josh? And I'm like, she's like a fucking 10-year-old. What do you think I'm going to put it on display? What do you think I'm doing to my Chucky doll on a regular basis?
I don't know if this is getting better for you, Josh.
Here. Like, what? And then I go,
you going to put her on display?
Josh
fucks I'm going to keep her in the closet. we can edit
I put the Chucky doll in the closet and make him watch.
But that was what I did. Was I went back to the NECA post about the M3GAN doll, which had gotten like 500,000 views and comments on their page. And literally like 95% of the comments there were what these people were saying. And I'm like, oh, this is just where everyone's fucking mind goes now.
Yeah, I bet they were like, we spent so much money making this fucking doll because we thought everybody would think it'd be cool, but now it's this.
Yeah, and now you can't even admit that you own it.
Same reason we can't really do stuff for the stuff, right? Because like you post it and everybody's like, come, it's come.
Yeah.
You know what that looks like? Yes, we know. Yeah, we know. We get it.
Yeah. That's what we were going for. We just decided to make it about a movie. Yeah.
You guys talking about it.
You guys wouldn't buy our cum shirts unless they had a horror movie title on them. We actually told Bargain Bin just do a mural of a cum flood and then decided to make
cum flood
stuff.
No.
Hashtag Jesus.
Yeah. You should have leaned into it with those shirts. Yeah. Hashtag cum shirts.
I don't want to lean into it. It's sticky.
Yeah.
You would have flood.
You would have found your demographic if you used that.
We already did.
Oh, we found our demographic.
Yeah. They're the ones commenting on both of our stuffs.
They're the ones commenting. You mean
commenting? Yeah.
It's the Joshes that are fucking his Chucky dolls.
Hey.
We should do a reprint of that and then say best comment gets free shit.
Yeah, you got to reprint that. You got to do a whole. You got to do socks and handkerchiefs too. So
yeah. Rags and
oh man. Natural progression of this episode.
Yeah. I do like how we managed to fit in a lot of cum talk and incest. We can
sex robots,
remove
AI sex robots.
Yeah.
Violent AI sex robots.
I'm glad that
we had to get to that. This episode had to get to sex robots. Yeah.
I'm glad that we had this really focused episode about AI and that we really talked about some important AI issues.
Actually, that's a good segue because there is a spinoff. We're getting M3GAN 2.0 in next year.
Yeah.
But then there's also a M3GAN spinoff that's an adult sex doll.
No.
What?
And it's called
M3GAN.
No, it's called Soulmate.
It's called Mark.
Oh.
Mark.
Yes, and just the Lily Sullivan from Evil Dead Rise is going to star in it. The forthcoming M3GAN spinoff from Kate Dolan, who did You Are Not My Mother, the movie which hails from Blumhouse and Atomic Monster, will center on an AI-powered android designed to help a man cope with the loss of his wife. Of course, as you can probably imagine, he asks a little too much of the AI, and the android turns into a twisted reflection of her original purpose.
Isn't this just an episode of Black Mirror?
I was going to say that was an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, except that one was her husband that died.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
Right.
God, that episode was so fucking emotionally brutal.
Yeah.
God, the whole first 3 seasons of that show, God, they left like a black hole in my heart that'll never be filled.
Yeah.
Just Jesus.
It's agreed. Yeah. It was
depressing as fuck.
Well, this Blumhouse sex doll movie probably won't be as emotionally jarring, but hopefully still impressive. Yeah, they're doing the M3GAN sequel and the spin-off called Soulmate, Soulm8.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it needs to be like S0UL M4T3.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll make another replica of that doll. Because at least that one will be an adult.
Right, yeah. Blumhouse is calling NECA right now, and NECA's like, should we though?
Now, well, that's why they're making the movie, because everybody made those comments, and they were like, well, if we make an adult one,
this is what they want.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, sick bastards. Internet's undefeated, dude.
Yeah.
The internet is undefeated.
True.
Man, this has been a good episode.
Yeah. Are we going to go over the scores? We're going to see what other people are saying. Is every Letterboxd review on M3GAN talking about sex dolls too, or no?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Like mine wasn't. I approached it like an actual film. These fucking pervs.
Here, let's start with Chopping Mall. And just complete transparency here, my screen froze 8 minutes into this episode, so I haven't seen you guys live this whole time.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
We're all AI.
Yeah. Chopping Mall, we got a 55% tomato meter, 39% audience score.
What?
I know.
Wow.
And then we got a 2.9 on Letterboxd, which I was really surprised by. I mean, I understand what the movie is, but I thought it was much more love than that.
Say that again. Sorry, I was reading.
55 tomato
reviews.
meter, 39 audience score, 2.9 on Letterboxd. It's funny though,
that's way too low.
Everybody I follow on Letterboxd is definitely much. They're giving it pretty high reviews.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. Like
it's awesome.
Sat out to like take notes on it and stuff, and I was just like, I just love this movie. Every aspect of this movie is great.
And then we got Child's Play, 63% tomato meter, 57% audience score, 2.5 on Letterboxd.
It's wrong.
It's funny how on Rotten Tomatoes, both scores are higher than for Child's Play than it is for Chopping Mall, but on Letterboxd, it's lower.
Well, I'm sure it got review bombed, and there's a lot of people that hate it just to hate it, whereas the critics all thought it was surprisingly well done too.
Yeah,
not all, but for the most part, was what was shocking.
And then M3GAN is a little crazy. You got a 93% tomato meter, 78% audience score, and a 2.8 on Letterboxd.
Huh.
Yeah.
Kind of figured it would be higher on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
People are nervous. They're like 2 stars because I don't feel that way about this doll. Don't don't assume anything about me.
Yeah.
I kind of want a Child's Play where the kid is a girl. Just it's always a little boy.
A boy, yeah.
I just want to see like.
Well, you need a girl.
You know what? I bet it's because a girl would be like, something's fucked up with this doll.
Yeah. Take it away.
That was the one thing I wrote down is how many red flags they ignore.
Right.
Like early on with the doll. Like as soon as he walks in, he's like, "You guys are watching a movie? I got a knife. Haha, I thought you'd like it." I'm like,
At that point, I would dismantle that fucking
exactly.
But that was the appeal to him, right? Because he's like, "Oh, it's for little kids," and he's like, "Oh, this one's fucked up. Like it's doing."
That's right. Yeah, he'll do anything. But there was some interesting, convenient circumstances where, they finally get rid of it, break it, like kill his little like chest piece and throw him in the dumpster, and he just happens to get recovered by this tech dude who's really into all this Caslin stuff, and it's like, I'm gonna immediately put you right back together.
I'm really because they show he's like the foreman or whatever, the janitor for the apartment building, and he has cameras. He has a camera at the head of that one dinner table.
Yeah,
that's a very specifically placed camera.
Right.
But also, like, I really expected him to be like, oh well, now with this, you can see all of their like. There's no connection. It's just he's a creep. He's just a creep.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep. I did see 2 really funny reviews from M3GAN on Letterboxd. One, and this is definitely giving Dennis from It's Always Sunny vibes. If you cared so much about your dog, you wouldn't let him live outside, dumb bitch. I know.
God damn.
This is very Dennis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you know what? That I absolutely like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one is why'd they style her like an Orthodox Jewish woman?
Yeah.
Her wardrobe is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's like inverted Wednesday.
That's a good point.
She is like an inverted Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm curious to see what they do with the sequel, because she's destroyed and they haven't built a second one, right? I don't think they had planned like a launch, but I don't think they made more of her.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
So.
Yeah.
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 But now
like,
she's in all the smart devices.
Because they don't really show the aftermath of what happens. They just like, there's going to be a launch, and then Ronnie Chang is dead. It's
yeah.
And somebody else said this is Ex Machina for iPad babies.
Yeah.
But now that made me I forgot about that movie. We should totally watch that soon.
Yeah,
that'd be a good AI one. Then somebody else just said in all capital letters, "Let Megan say fuck." But yeah.
And she does. If you watch the unrated one,
does she?
Right.
I'm pretty sure she gets an F-bomb at the end. She says, "I'll tear your head right off your fucking neck" or something.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
So, what is the sequel supposed to be about? What's the synopsis?
Ronnie Chang pulls himself back together with robot parts.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, that's honestly, I kind of want that more than anything.
I don't know if they have a synopsis yet. It just says director Gerard Johnstone's coming back. Akilah Cooper is writing it again. And Allison Williams and Violet McGraw are coming back. And
that's the main actress, right?
Tim Sharp. Yeah, so the main actress and her aunt, and then Aristotle Athari and Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords is going to be in it. But yeah, it comes out June 2025. So I think it's currently in production. But James Wan said he had an idea of where sequels could go, but they never like fully explained what the plot or idea behind this one was going to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
But yeah,
I kind of want an entire army of Megans marching on like LA or some shit.
You get that at Horror Nights,
right?
They had like the whole M3GAN dance crew, which is pretty fun.
Honestly, incredible.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That happened when we were at was it the Horror Nights in Orlando? Had them like just roaming through the park, and then the Horror Nights here had a Blumhouse attraction, which was literally just like go into the Kung Fu Panda theater and watch a sizzle reel of all the Blumhouse movies coming out. And I'm like, oh, you just want us to see your fucking trailers. And then at the end of it, like there's a glitch and all the lights shut off and it's pitch black for a second. And when the lights come back on, there's Megan's all throughout the theater. And they were like right in front of you. It was very fucking cool. Very scary.
That is cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice. I think I might be hitting up the what was that?
Sorry, just thinking back.
Just thinking about cum floods.
Yeah. I still can't get over that one. What were you gonna say, Derek?
You're gonna have to you look, man, sometimes the only way out is through.
Say I think I might be
through it.
I'm gonna try to hit up the Orlando Horror Nights for the first time since like 2009. Because we're probably going to be doing a Disney trip this October.
Nice.
Try to sneak a night in there. If you guys
Who's
are
going to watch your kid?
Well, Katie will while I go to Horror Nights. No. I think her parents. Her parents might be in town. I don't know. It's not all figured out just yet. We're just talking about it now.
Oh, so you and the parents will go and she wants the kid.
Yeah. I'll go with the in-laws. Well, yeah,
it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have a funny moment to end this one on.
I mean, you can just murmur "cum flood" under your breath again.
Yeah.
Cum flood.
Yeah.
Well, subscribe and leave a
Thanks
comment.
for tuning in. This is the Creep-O-Rama podcast where we talk about AI sex dolls.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
This was my fault.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed your
You invite me on board. This is what I bring to the table: is bad puns and killer dolls. That's my
I
shit.
just unplugged my monitor and now I can see you guys. My fucking screen was frozen that whole episode. I couldn't see you guys. So I was just like, all right, I hope they could see me, and I hope they could.
Oh yeah, you were fine the entire time.
Yeah, we saw you the whole time.
I was trying to act natural, not